Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our /JustNoMil. In today's episode, No MIL, we won't just have them nap at your place. Help. Am I reading into things? MIL called out for talking badly about our household. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. No MIL, we won't just have them nap at your place. We visited the in-laws the other day for great-grandma's birthday. We get there at our normal time of about 11. Lunch was supposedly going to be at noon, but they are notorious for being 1 hour off, whether cooking or picking up food. My 2 and almost 4-year-old still nap for about 2 hours a day. Nap time is normally 1 to 3 for our household. Because we were visiting family, I was okay with pushing it to 2 to 4, and maybe even 2:30 to 4 depending on the kids' moods. I planned on leaving between 1:30 and 2, as it's a half-hour drive home. My kids were having fun with the water tables. Lunch was late, but they ate decently, and were clearly getting tired around nap time. MIL makes the usual comments. Why are we leaving so early? We just got there. The kids can just take naps here. No big deal. Yes, Karen, it actually is a big deal to us. Almost 4-year-old is autistic and needs the routine of home and his own bed in order to actually sleep. They both only sleep in absolute darkness with white noise, and you have dainty see-through curtains and not a single fan in your home. One of the bedrooms is missing a door, and your so-called crib is a broken death trap that 2-year-old can easily climb out of. It's a big old house, and with no monitors and everyone outside, I'd be stuck sitting in the house by myself anyways. I don't need to make more work for myself or be stressed trying to get them to nap at your place. Trust me, it's easier for everyone if we just go home to their comfort and safe place. Just because your kids could fall asleep in a tractor or someone else's couch doesn't mean I should try with my kids. We visited, we had fun, my kids interacted. Let that be enough. Better to end on a good note. Husband was on my side like always. We know his mom just gets like this. She thinks all kids should be like her kids and other older grandkids. So she's not used to the pushback we give and the boundaries we've made. I'm convinced these OMY kids slept anywhere boomers just dragged their kids across hell's half-acre whenever they felt like it till the kids passed out from exhaustion. It's like they're convinced the routine is something we made up one day to mess with them personally, you know? Not something that directly benefits the child, Ren. You know, the kids you take care of every day, not them. It's always a personal affront to them, it seems. I so feel this. Have a kiddo who has special needs, so a routine was necessary for all 4 of our kids, for their sanity and ours. Missed nap meant disaster later in the day, sometimes into next day too. We just learned to cheerfully ignore the MIL comments suggesting we let them sleep at grandma's, or in the car, or whatever. Of course, this MIL was the one who turned to my mom in the middle of a kid meltdown, kiddo already diagnosed SPD, and suspected but not yet confirmed autism, and said, I guess parents just don't believe in spanking these days. My son is almost 20 now, and I still have not forgotten that comment. These MILs who think their singular experience should apply to all other people's children, and who don't try to listen and learn, should just be sailed off to a desert island somewhere. Kids are creatures of habit, and they like to be around their own stuff. Why so that's so hard for some folks to understand? As a parent, your obligation is to do what's best for your child. Sounds like you take that responsibility seriously. Good job. Help. Am I reading into things? My husband and I had a baby only a year after being married, but 3 years together. We lived 4 hours from his family, which didn't leave a ton of time for me to really get to know them. All interactions were great, up until I got pregnant. I'm so willing to hear that I am overthinking it, just don't flame me. My MIL started making weird comments and treating me differently. I figured she was just excited for the baby to arrive. She would always treat me more like an incubator than her DL. My grandbaby can have this seat. I made this food for my grandbaby. Anything for my grandbaby?
Then baby arrived.
She first was making faces when my husband was burping our baby. Acted like he was beating her. Then she asked if she could give Milo a bottle. Since Milo was showing signs of reflux at that point, I asked her to burp her halfway through the bottle. I walked away, and when I came back, the bottle had finished. Normally, Milo got fussy during the burp because she was still hungry, but I didn't hear a peep. I asked if she burped her, and she said she didn't tell me she needed it. You can tell when a baby needs burped. She asked if she could join me in giving Milo a bath. The entire time she was like, careful with her head. She looks cold. More water. Oh, careful, careful. I was doing nothing wrong. Since then, we moved closer to her as my husband works needs him in the area for the summer. I feel like it's only worse. She picked my baby up and said, "Come to mommy." She is constantly touching Milo's hands and feet and saying she is cold. Anytime I tell her to feel baby's neck/bum for warmth, she ignores me and finds some way to layer up my baby more than she already is. She wrapped her in a t-shirt because she couldn't find a blanket. Where's the changing pad? Instead of handing me my baby, do so can change my baby's diaper. She talks to me through Milo. She holds the baby in ways that don't sit well with my baby and then is surprised when she gets fussy. Says, "You're hungry, aren't you?" I tell her she literally ate 20 minutes ago, and she tells me that she knows a hunger cry when she hears one. UGH. It's things like this over and over and over. This isn't even the half of it. Do you think I'm overreacting? Or do I have a right to be annoyed? How do I even go about things like this in the moment? I hardly know her. By not burping your baby halfway through the bottle, your mother-in-law has proven that she is willing to harm your child because she thinks she knows better than you do. Her attitude is unacceptable. You are not overreacting. Good job taking steps to take back your power. That wording is something I would turn into a comment the next time she asks to feed, bathe, change, anything. And say exactly what you did about her being right seems more important than the baby's well-being, and tell her we are taking a time out from her help until she learns to respect me as the child's actual mother. If she calls herself mommy, ask who the daddy is. Don't let up. Underreacting. Put this hag in her place. She not only thinks she is the third parent, she thinks she's the head parent. She needs to be put back in her lane ASAP. Why are you letting her get away with thinking it's her place to supervise when bathing your child? Or anything for that matter? Calling herself mommy should have been immediately corrected. She has stepped so far over the line. She's in the neighboring country. Talking to you through the baby should be met with something like, JustNoMil, she obviously can't understand you nor communicate in ways for you to understand her. If you have something you want to say to me, I'd appreciate it if you'd act like an adult and use your words to address it with me. I will strongly caution you to think before you speak, however, and decide if it's appropriate to say as a grandparent and not the parent of my daughter. Speaking out of place can have serious consequences. MIL called out for talking badly about our household. I'm experiencing a high-risk pregnancy and am relying on TPN, nutrition, through my foreport, so I have been sick and miserable for months. I have a young toddler, and up until recently I was working part-time. I'm also finishing my master's degree on top of everything else. My husband works long hours and still comes home and starts his role as caregiver for me and my toddler. My MIL was offering to come up every few weeks to help with our toddler so I could work or get homework done. When she would be over, there was often dishes in the sink or a pile of laundry on our couch. These things would be taken care of later in the week, or I would have our house cleaner come more frequently to help. However, I felt safe with my MIL to not stress about cleaning up before she would come over. Well, my brother-in-law and his wife informed my husband and I that my MIL was disappointed/disgusted by our home. She told them everything that was dirty. She also specifically said she would not help fold laundry or with dishes because we need to learn how to manage our household with another baby on the way. She also said she raised my husband better than leaving the house messy. Now that I know she was judging us this whole time, while I have been seriously ill, I have no room for forgiveness. My husband confronted her and she said, "I guess I just don't get to have an opinion about anything since it upsets you guys. I don't feel comfortable with her ever being in our home because I don't understand how a parent can judge another parent, especially when our lives were turned upside down with this stressful pregnancy. I can't stop thinking about what else she has judged about our home or parenting. My home is clean besides the occasional pile of dishes and laundry, but it never sits for more than a few days. And the dishes she referred to most recently were for me meal prepping over the weekend for her surgery as part of a meal train I started for her. I don't think an apology would make me comfortable for her to be in my home again. Am I overreacting? Just so I understand, your pregnancy is high risk, you're finishing a master's, you kindly organized a meal train in support of her, and she's judging you? You're relying on nutrition via IV therapy, while when she was pregnant, she could probably just stuff another sandwich in her pie hole. Not only would I not want her in my home, my safe space, again, but if she does come over, she'd be hearing an endless stream of sarcastic apology about how it's not Buckingham Palace and you didn't have time to sanitize it for her protection. In an ideal world, your BIL would have told her she needs some self-reflection, but I'm glad to hear your dish stood up to that nonsense. Keeping all those balls in the air as you are doing is admirable. Not overreacting. I have 4 kids, and after having my 4th, I have struggled to get a handle on my life. She was by far my neediest baby. I questioned my life choices for a long time, still do sometimes. My house has been a disaster since she was born. I'm getting better, but there seems to always be a pile of dishes, piles of laundry, toys, and paper everywhere. My Mill will come over, and she's like, "Don't worry about it. You've got 4 young kids. There's gonna be mess." And never says anything about how messy it is. The last time she came over, it was truly horrendous. She didn't say a single word to me or anyone about it. They just visited and told me what a great time they had and how they enjoyed watching the kids. If she's uncomfortable with the mess, that's fine, but she doesn't get to gossip about it. She should either help out or keep out. Your mother-in-law is judgmental and rude. She knows her statements are not acceptable. She's trying to hide behind, "It's my opinion," to get away with it. Does she also claim to be just being honest when called out for making nasty/hurtful statements? If it were me, I'd tell her an opinion is in your thoughts. We don't care about your opinion. The problem is you making rude and judgmental statements behind our backs. Did no one teach you it's not nice to say hurtful things? My 3-year-old goddaughter is working on that. Maybe she can hang out with her and absorb the lesson. I think what I mostly find appalling is how she refused to help with any of those things because you guys need to learn with another baby on the way. Like, Emil, shut up. You're grown adults, not children. She's not teaching you shit. She's just not giving as much help as you would appreciate, which is fine, because it seems like you've never expected her to do any of those things. You're not overreacting. Your Emil's comments were malicious and inexcusable. You wouldn't be overreacting to tell her she's lost her right to visit your home. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.